Hello again, it's Fools back with another episode to hopefully help some of you out who've been struggling with this subject, as I was for a very long time, which is the boosting of the spell DCs or difficulty checks. I've seen posts in the forum, people with sort of DC of 70, 80 and struggling in the legendary content and thinking, oh, there's no way I can get this high, and what are the secrets? How do you get there? I won't say it's something you can do overnight, but it certainly is something that's attainable once you know all the. It's just basic maths, as I said to somebody the other day. There's certainly a lot more to being a decent player than just the numbers, and I certainly don't claim to be any kind of decent player. But it is true to say that up to a certain point, you can look really. You can go into a quest, press a button, and everything gets held. Press a second button, and everything dies, and everybody thinks, "Whoa!" Or you can go into a quest, press the same button, nothing happens, and everybody in your party dies. The difference there between number one and number two is probably about 20 DCs on your spell casting stat. So, how do we go about raising these DCs? Uh, what should I take as the? I think we could. So you can see there, that's Fool's highest one. He's at 116 outside of Reaper. I think in Reaper mode he can get as high as the low to mid 120s on the Greatest Shout, which is enough to hold the Despair Reaper. Even after, I think the Greatest Shout was bugged and was holding everything all the time, but I think they fixed that now and it's still working. So that's a nice one to have. But with the evocation stuff generally, even not that, he's sitting at 115 out of Reaper, which is not terrible. The Reaper enhancements add quite a bit to that, maybe 6 or 7, but we'll come to that. So why don't we start with the boosting of the main casting stat? So he's sitting at 94 with no buffs, or just the ship buff. So the ship buffs is the first one because it boosts your casting stat. Every 2 points you put onto your casting stat is 1 DC, so that's desirable. So we want to crunch as many of those 2 points as we can into the gear, meaning in Fool's case it's wisdom, obviously, the casting stat. So we've got a diamond of wisdom 14 there, insightful 6 on the goggles, so that's 20 extra, and we've got quality 3 on the belt, so straight away there we've got 23 extra, all stacking together. Then we've got the different types of bonus that you can get to your. So Fools is focused on evocation. So on the goggles we've got evocation focus 6 for the spell school, insightful 3, so that's another 9. Then there are certain other things which give bonuses to all spell schools and stack with those. So we've got here on the goggles, we've got a quality spell focus mastery. Spell focus mastery, if you didn't know, is a bonus to all schools. So that's a 2 bonus to all spell schools, which is handy for Fools because he is sort of directed in more than one, although evocation is the main one. So we've got quality 2 there. We've got sacred 2 on the gloves here, which is a Fey Twisted glove, the Gloryborn gloves from the Fey Twisted chests in the Feywild. You can farm those chests, which indeed is how I got this. there is a very early chest in the quest Make Believe, I think it's called, where the water elementals are, which is a very popular farm until you get the Fey twisted one, and then maybe get some friends to come in and open the chests, and hopefully you can find what you want. That's obviously the legendary spinneret from the Slave Lord's chain. I think, is it the third part of the Slave Lord's chain? So that's the quality sacred 2, both of which stack. And then on this is a dinosaur artifact, which has a profane 2 on it. Now, if you don't have Isle of Dread, or you don't want to use a dino artifact, there is also the legendary Shattered Onyx ring from the quest Reach for the Sky in Shan, which gives the same profane 2 bonus, if my memory serves. So profane, sacred and quality, that's a 6 stacking bonus. You can get other, we mentioned the bonuses to the main stats. You can get, if you really are lucky, or in my case you crunch the Reaper fragments from the Reaper items, you can get a Reaper helmet enchantment plus 2 bonus on all stats, so that's another 1 DC. Oh, I forgot the festive. There's the festive wisdom there as well, the augment at the bottom, so that stacks. They come from the special events, like the winter Snow Peaks event or the Halloween Night Revels event. I can't remember which ones come from which, but that's where they come from. You can find them in the auction houses if you don't have them, or if you're lucky enough to have some friends around, the chances are they'll probably have a stack because they'll have been doing the events. So yes, Reaper helmet enchantment, very rare to get a helmet dropping with that. I cheated with this one and used 75 of those Reaper shards by crunching Reaper items in the Hall of Heroes in the marketplace to get to this. And there was one I saw here. Oh yes, Globe of True Imperial Blood gives an exceptional 1 bonus on each stat, so that stacks with everything else, so it's also pushing the casting stat higher too. If you really have the patience or the luck to get enough Reaper shards dropping for you by crunching these Reaper items from the quests, the named Reaper items, you can get Reaper ring enchantments, which plus 1 Reaper bonus to spell DCs, and that stacks with everything else. You can have that. I don't have it on the other ring. I'm saving up for it. But as I understand it, you can have it on both rings, and the bonuses stack. So there would be 2 extra DCs there from having that. We can go into the feats. At least I think we can. Can't we see? Oh, that's epic, legendary, past lives. Can't we see the heroic feats? I'm not sure we can. Oh yes, okay. So yeah, spell focus feats. So we've got spell focus evocation, which is a heroic feat, giving +1 bonus on just the evocation school. Greater spell focus evocation, another 1 bonus. And then in epic, you can also take it in epic. There we go, epic spell focus evocation for another 1 bonus. So in your main school, you could take those. There is also a +3 at level 31. I think you have the option of taking a sub school, like a different one from your main one, 3 points in there. So Fools could have taken 3 transmutation or illusion, and I was tempted to, but I went with more spell power instead, something like this one, spell power positive, I think, because that improves as well by a small amount the crit damage for every spell school. Every spell power. So 3 points on the evocation DC just from the destinies. Then we have the epic trees, epic destinies. So those were the epic feats, rather heroic and epic feats, and these are his epic trees. So here in the core of Draconic, which is mostly in, we've got +1 epic bonus to spell DCs, so that's a total of +4 because he's got 4 cores and it's +1 with each core. Now unfortunately the cores don't stack, so it's just if you have 4 in here, you don't also get +1 for being in here. It's just those 4 as I understand it. Also here we have +3 transmutation. Usually on a tier 3 of the caster tree you'll get like a multi-selector, and you'll be able to select what spells school you want to specialize more in. So we've got transmutation here, evocation, which is main one there, and I've also taken illusion in this one, which are the 3 schools he's interested in. Evocation is his bread and butter for almost all his druid spells. Transmutation covers the ice flowers and the new spell they've given the druids, the grasping thorns, which is like our version of it's a bit of a lesser version of the warlock's Evard's black tentacles. So I was super happy that they made it transmutation, which is something I can probably achieve a reasonable DC in, and not conjuration, which I probably wouldn't have landed very much in legendary content. So at tier 3, bonuses to specific schools, and then in the top tier here we've got another 3 on the spell DCs. Most of the trees have exactly the same, most of the caster trees. Like up here as well, we've got +3 to all spell DCs if I'd have gone tier 5 in Fatesinger. I think that pretty much covers it. So the too long didn't bother version, actually no, let's just wait with that. There's the Reaper enhancements. So this is why we've got 116 at the moment on the Greatest Shout. I know for a fact it's in the 120s in Reaper content. So if you look here, we have 4 extra wisdom, so that's another 2 DC, that takes us to 118. And 1, 2, 3, 4 spell DCs in Reaper mode, so that's 120. Sorry, my maths, 122. Then we have the cheaty little things we can use here. These Yugoloth potions, obtained by completing the what is it now? Is it the Devils of Shavarath chain? I think it's the level 20 chain that nobody would do when doing a heroic TR. I think it's called the Devils of Shavarath. There are maybe 4 quests you have to complete to get enough favour to be able to trade with the Yugoloth potion trader. I think Despair might be the one that gives wisdom, and Desire is the Constitution, if memory serves. So those last for 15 minutes. They do cost quite a bit, but when you're at the end game and earning loads of platinum, that's not really a factor. So I would recommend those. They mostly last for a full quest at least, and that's another. It's 2 points on the casting stat, so another DC, which is nice. If you want to splash out a bit further, the other temporary boost you can get is from mysterious remnants. So here we have lasting elixirs of Owl's knowledge. Now these are not cheap, at 250 remnants a time. So if you're saving your remnants for something important, I probably would say don't bother with these. But they do last for an hour and give you another stacking 2 bonus on your casting stat. So I take those sometimes. So what did we say? We said 122. So with that 123, and with this 124. So his best possible would be 124 in Reaper, or 123 for the standard evocation spells he uses, the Salt Ray and the Sunburst and Earthquake and Tsunami. All those that have a DC of 123, which is, I think, is reasonably respectable, especially from where I was coming from. I was sort of hovering around the 100 mark for a long time before I was able to get into the nitty-gritty of the sort of gear Tetris and how to put the thing together. Generally, you'll find, and in thinking about this, I've realised I've just missed another important part of the DC, so I'm glad I've stopped myself. You'll find that you tend to focus more on either the DC side of things or the damage. I say that because the last part I'm going to show is the filigree, which can also make a big difference to the what do we press here? Z, isn't it? Yeah, can make a big difference to the spell DCs. So I've done 2 things here. I've double stacked my wisdom filigree pieces, so meaning I have in here in the artifact I have 4. Can I show you that? Yeah, I can. I have 4 wisdom related ones. So we've got a rare wisdom one there for +2 wisdom, that's +1 DC. And the 3 sets that I go into, the Lunar Magic, the Frozen Wanderer and the Eye of the Beholder, all +1 wisdom. So we've got the mirror image of these on the weapon, so that's +6 wisdom in total. That's another 3 DC before we've even started talking about the artifact set bonuses. Now one of these sets, the Frozen Wanderer, deals only with cold power and critical, so there's no DC in there, but the other 2, Beholder and Lunar Magic, you can see from the description between them they give +4 to all spell DCs. So when that scepter is equipped, we get 4 from the sets, 5 from just having that +2, and the 6 wisdom is another 3. I think, if I'm right, we get 8 DC just by having this scepter with its filigree in. Now I say you need to make a choice usually, because although I've given over a little bit here to cold spell power, I've focused, broadly speaking, on the DC side of it at the expense of spell power. If you were going for a casting build with like ruins, which obviously have no save, you might want to look at something like Coalesced Magic, which boosts universal spell power as a set bonus, but is not as strong on the DC side of things. It's kind of a compromise, I guess. I've pushed my DCs as high as I could because, generally speaking, I play alone, So if I can't control something, it usually kills me. So that's why my particular emphasis on that for the survivability side. Although the purists might say it can't kill you if it's dead, so I'll let you make your own mind up on that. Now this time, I think I really have covered all the elements I possibly could. So between filigree, gear... Actually, no, there is still one more I haven't covered, and that's the gear set bonus itself. So here we have no, not that. Where is it? Doesn't it show anything up for the Fey? Maybe not. We'll just have to see from there. So you can see down at the bottom here, numbers 5 and 6 are both helpful to us for the spell DCs, because number 5 is giving us 3 artifact bonus to wisdom, and number 6 is another 3 artifact bonus to spell DCs. So that's the Feywild 7-piece autumn set that is helping us in that regard. The purists would say don't use that. Go with the gem of many facets in here, and I think it's called the Elder's Cap up at the top, and other things that stack to give you better power overall. But I raid only very rarely, so I just don't have the threads of fate to re-roll the gem of many facets bonuses to get the right thing. It took me a long time to get this bottled rainstorm, and as a side note, big thanks to those of you who helped me to do so, because that was like the centerpiece of this Feywild set. Right, I'm going to shut up now. So how can we summarize? So to boost the DCs, broadly speaking, we've got gear set, so in this case a 7-piece autumn from Fey. We've got filigree, we've got heroic and epic feats, we've got epic destiny choices, we have the main casting stat, wisdom. We've got Reaper enhancements, and we have Reaper enhancements being the Reaper tree, as well as specific Reaper related stuff on the gear, so Reaper helmet, Reaper ring boost. And then we've got stacking different types of spell focus mastery. So we've got quality, sacred, and profane. And I promised I would shut up, so I will. I hope that's helped one or two of you. If you are one of those who's sitting down at 70, 80 DC and wondering how to go forward, I was one of those not too long ago, and I can tell you it feels great to finally be able to press the button and have something happen like it should. So it's worth persevering, in my opinion at least. Okay, I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you very much, and speak to you soon.